Alright, sorry guys, my camera actually died there. This actually booted not long after, like only maybe 5 seconds after, while I was trying to fix the camera. But essentially what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to come here and go next. Alright, and then you're gonna want to go continue. Actually no, you're gonna want to go to utilities, disk utility, and you're going to want to come here and you're going to go erase, and you're going to make it whatever you want. So I made mine, and yeah, I'm having to use the external keyboard now, so make sure you've got those and the mouse plugged in. So I made mine 850 Pro Mac, just because I want to dual boot this. So this is Mac side and the other side will be Windows, and what you would do is you'd go erase, and then that'll do its stuff. I'm not going to do that because that's a painful, very super painful process, and yeah, you guys will see. You erase it, takes a while sometimes, then you'll have 850 Pro Mac. Alright, then you close this and you go continue, agree, then you choose this and you go continue. Alright, and that'll start installing. That'll take you about 20 minutes. Alright, once that's done, your system will automatically reboot, and I'll show you by emulating that now. So I'm not actually going to do that process now because it takes a long time, and it also don't have much time left to record. So you can see it, it'll work for you, promise. It's exactly the same. As long as you followed everything up to here as I've shown you, it'll work fine. Now, in this process as well, it actually seems quite slow to shut the machine down. It takes about a minute for it to realize it's turning off. And it turns off. Now, we're going to want to start it up again, holding F9 or tapping F9. Now this time, I'm going to boot it differently. So instead of booting from external USB drive, which is a UEFI version, we're going to boot from the actual EFI. Right? So this is the one that Windows recognizes, so the part of the USB that you can actually see that we installed Clover onto. So hit that. Oh, sorry, we didn't install Clover onto this one, sorry, my bad. This is the other version. So trust me, you want to do it like this, and then you want to see how it says 850 Pro. Now, I didn't set any flags for mine, and it worked, if I remember correctly. So you just go continue, like so, and give it some time. Now, I think mine's partially pre-configured, so I'll just step through it with you. So see, my keyboard's not working because I booted it like this, which is fine. So I'll use my external keyboard again. I've already created the account. It'll ask you to create your do your settings and whatnot. You can do that. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just go through it yourself and make your account. So I'm gonna log on. It logs in. Fine. Now we can take out our USB which we booted the OS from. Alright, and you will have other files on another USB which you will need to plug in. So you can do so. I'm just going to plug the same one back in because I don't have the other one currently handy. But yeah, I'm just going to pause the video now and I'll be back shortly. Alright, so I'm actually back, and I quickly put the files onto this USB. So I'm going to do this, plug it in, like so. Wait for it to come up. Today, hopefully. Yeah, I forgot to tell you guys. This is very buggy as well in this mode, so it freezes a lot. So whatever you want to do, you want to do it really quick. So let's try again. But after we do this, it'll be schmick and it won't freeze at all, promise. Alright, so quickly remove that USB. Doesn't matter if you don't safely eject it, it's not imperative, not important. Plug a new USB in, and it pops up, whatever you named it. Don't open it from there, trust me. Go here, new Finder window, and find the file that I put on here with whoops, that's why, Win7. Cool. HP ProBook installer, click on that. Alright, let it do its thing. Alright, cool. Double click this. Now you're going to want to do this as quick as you can. As I said before, this thing might freeze at any second. So go Clover, choose your OS X support kexts, open that up. Choose what model you have. So I have a G2, which is a Broadwell processor. Go in here, select that. Again, select your laptop. I don't know why I have to do it twice, but standard G2 Broadwell. And then you go into MISC, select all of those. Alright, and then you go into extras. I would just suggest Clover and Kext Wizard. And then you go continue. Alright, choose install location, make sure it's your 850 Pro Mac. Continue, install, enter your password. Okay, let it do its thing. Depending on what you've selected, it might take some time again. It's alright, just be patient. Put you guys a bit closer so you can see a bit better. Sorry about that, guys. Hopefully everything's been in the video for you. As you can see, it's still working, hasn't frozen yet. Lucky me, right? Cool, installation was successful. Close it, and perfect. It's frozen on me right now, so cool, that's fine. Go hold your power button down if it freezes as well. Otherwise, if you can shut it down normally, shut it down normally. Okay, wait for that to go out. Now look, just to prove it to you, I'll take the USBs out. No USBs, no keyboard, no mouse. Turn it on. You can use the internal keyboard and mouse again now. So just wait for it to boot. That's fine, just let it do it again. Okay. Now it'll boot. And voila. So we've got OS X installed, El Capitan. Now if you want to start it up, hit enter. Make sure you hit enter on the drive you created, not recovery. And it should boot. This is live boot time, by the way. This is just how fast it boots when you've got it configured correctly on an SSD. If everything goes well. Okay guys, so essentially that is pretty much how you get Mac OS X to boot and run on pretty much any PC as long as it supports it. So I believe that the Macs that started working on PCs was from Mavericks and up, but that's just because that's when the processors started supporting Intel processors, because Mac moved away from their old stuff and started using Intels. To be honest with you, I can't guarantee this tutorial to work with any other versions of the software. I can only guarantee it to work the way that I've shown you with El Capitan, and that's because I have the files for it specifically. But by all means, it should perhaps work close to like this with different sorts of software. You just need to know what you're doing, I guess, and figure out the differences between them. Now, essentially, I've only scratched the surface on this. I haven't even shown you guys how to dual boot with Windows. I've really just shown you how to install Mac. And the reason for this is because there's lots of variables that get involved from here on out. So, if you guys don't want to watch the rest of this video, and if you don't want to hear about the rest of this, I suggest you end the video here. You've got Mac installed, and that's it. That's all you need to do. Otherwise, if you want to stay along and listen to what I have to say, it might help you, it might guide you in the right direction if you want to dual boot and other things like that. I'm sure you might be able to find other tutorials out there on the internet, but I'll let you know what's worked for me. So for those of you who are leaving, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for more. And don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, right, guys? Because this that's what keeps me making content like this. If you guys like it, I'll make more. If you don't, then I won't. Now, anyways, back to what I was saying for everyone else who's still here. Essentially, yes, we've only got Mac OS X installed now. If you want to dual boot Windows, there's a couple things that we need to do. So, hear me out with this. Firstly, what you will need to do is you will need to repartition the drive. So you can do this with the partition tool disk utility on the Mac, but the only problem with that is it won't partition it as a proper GPT drive. Now the reason for this I don't know, but how it partitions it is no matter what partition you do, Windows will see it as a hybrid exFAT partition, not exFAT MBR partition. And it won't actually let you install it onto the system, because if you try and install it as an MBR with the master boot ROM, it'll fail since the drive is actually GPT. And if you try and install it as a GPT, it'll fail as well, because for some reason Windows thinks that it's an MBR partition. So to get around this, what you need to do is, from what I've found works, is I formatted it firstly with disk utility. So I've got the two separate formatted partitions, the Mac one and the Windows one. Then I've downloaded a utility which is called, what is it called? It's a partition utility for the Mac. I believe it's called Stellar Partition, something like that. And what it does is it allows you to actually format the drive as an NTFS partition. Now that's all said and done, that's great, but the thing is it's still not ready for Windows to be installed onto it. So once you do that, go through the processes, format it with that partition utility on the Mac, and that'll get us ready for the next step. So once that's done, turn off the computer. You're going to want to actually remove the drive unless you've got some sort of bootable partition tool. I would suggest you remove the drive and put it into a Windows computer via USB if you've got like a USB adapter. Otherwise, if you want to plug it straight into the computer, you can make sure you've got extra space with another SATA port, plug it in like that. And what I would use is a tool I actually recommend is EaseUS Partition Master. Now that tool is actually a great tool. It works very well. I've actually found it taking me out of a lot of pickles. And yeah, get that tool, download it. It's virus free. It's actually a free program. You don't need the paid version. The free one will be fine for you. And then what you want to do is open it up, make sure your drive's plugged in, and then you're going to want to scroll through the list of drives you've got. If you've got a lot of different drives, you have to obviously figure out which one it is on your computer. Otherwise, if it's really only the second drive that you've got in there, you'll know straight away. And you'll see it. It's actually got tons of partitions on it, since that's what the Mac does. It partitions it several times with the recovery and all that. So you'll see it. And the way that I did mine is I partitioned my Mac actually smaller than the Windows partition. So I knew that the Windows one was the big one. And I click it. It should even come up as an NTFS partition at this point, since we've already reformatted it. And you should be able to go from there and reformat it again, only that partition, but don't do the whole drive, otherwise you're going to have to do this whole process again. So reformat the NTFS partition as a true NTFS partition with partition magic, or partition master. It's partition master, yes. And what that will do is that will make it ready for Windows. Now once that's complete and you finish that process, so you got to press the tick and get it to actually do it. Once that's complete, you should be able to plug that back into your laptop, and you want to make a bootable Windows USB with an EFI bootable sort of USB. So again, this is so that you can actually install it to a GPT installation or GPT drive instead of the MBR, because if you boot it like a normal USB, when it even says a name and all that, it won't unfortunately let you boot it and install it onto the GPT one. So you need to have a UEFI bootable version of Windows. I've used 7, and at the moment Windows 10 is still free. I believe that won't be like that for a while, but I've installed 7 with an activated key that I've had. I just had one laying around, and from there I've installed the update for Windows 10 and gone straight into it. Now, I'm not exactly sure if Windows 10 has any further support to let you boot UEFI. It should, since it's Windows 10, but I would suggest reading around a little bit and learning how to make a USB that's like that, and that should be fine. That should help you out. So restart your computer now, make sure your USB is plugged in to the laptop, and boot it into the UEFI again. It should boot up Windows. It will say loading files, and you'll get to the installer section. Just go through that as normal. When you get to the point where you're choosing your drives, you should clearly see the one that you've made there. You should be able to click on it. It'll be an NTFS one, and there shouldn't be any errors coming up. Should be able to press next. So press next. Do not format that drive. Whatever you do, it'll break everything. So just press next, and then go through the installation process. It'll copy all the files. It'll install it for you. This does take a bit of time, as Windows does, to install, but make sure you're watching it and you're monitoring it, because when the computer goes to restart, if you've got yours set up like mine, it'll automatically reboot into Mac. So you want to make sure to actually click on the Windows installer when you're going through your Clover boot menu and let it install Windows, and pretty much keep doing it until it's fully installed and it lets you set it up. Once you log on and you get to your desktop, you're pretty much done in that field. You can now dual boot at its earliest, easiest level. You should be able to restart the computer and have the option to either boot into from Clover into Mac or into Windows. Just select which one you want to boot into. Now, the only thing I've ever had problems with is booting into the recovery partition of the Mac, so don't do that. That actually breaks it as well. I highly suggest you stay away from that partition. Yeah. And then even for this machine that I'm using, the HP EliteBook, there's lots more new tutorials on how to actually get all the drivers and stuff to work, so you can actually use the onboard keyboard. Unfortunately, with my machine, Mac is not compatible with the Wi-Fi card that's in there. So I've actually ordered one online, and I'm waiting for that to arrive now. I'll test it out. Once it's arrived, I'll put it in there and see if it works. Hopefully it does. It's been one that they've recommended to work. I'll keep you guys updated on that if you want to know how that goes. Apart from that, you will need to install other things as well onto the Mac. Just things to help out so it works, if that makes sense. Something I've noticed on mine is once I've installed all the correct kexts files and modified kexts files so that they actually work, we also need to disable sleep mode in the Mac, because if it sleeps, it will never wake up again. So that's something you want to keep in mind. There's special ways to disable it so you can't do that. And also the other thing is, for some reason when you restart it, it's fine. It'll restart to your boot menu, but if you go to shutdown, it'll shut down the OS, but then the hardware won't actually turn off, so the computer just stays on even though the operating system's gone off. It's a bit weird. I don't know why it does that, but it does. They're the only real problems I see, and that's easy workaround. You just press restart, and when it gets to the HP logo or whatever manufacturer logo you have, just press the power button and you can turn it off again, back it up, put it away in your bag, and yeah, away you go. I can't really think of anything else you guys need to know from here. Everything should pretty much work fine as the way I've shown you in the tutorial. It just won't be optimized. If you find the ways to optimize it, I'll leave links in the description to places for the HP EliteBook that actually give you pretty good in-depth walkthroughs, but they're written on how to do it. And yeah, this process I've made a video for has all been trial and error, so there's been things that haven't worked for me. Hours worth of research. Actually took me a week to get this to work properly, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the time that I've taken to make this video. Hope it really helps you guys as well. Obviously, there's some things that I may have been able to improve on, but yeah, apart from that, helping you guys is the main aim. So let me know if you've got any questions. I'll try and help you out to the best that I can. And if I've left anything out, or if you guys want to see anything else, let me know. I might even make a video about it. Yeah. Alright guys, well, this is pretty much the end of the video now. That's enough of me rambling. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, please make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. And peace out. Catch you later.